Kyle Larson had a chance to win. Kyle Larson was three of those overtime cautions. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to get into the Kyle Larson discussion, but I hope, like hell, others are starting to see that this guy thinks that his shit don't stink.
Well, I'm going to touch base real quick on the last two Larson cautions. So, because the first one, I'm trying to remember what happened there. But the second...
He ran out of gas. The first one was where he got into the chest. Huh?
You said three cautions, because I remember two of them, which I'm just about ready to mention. The first one I remember was where he ran the yellow line, knowing that the yellow line is basically the apron at that point of how they detailed that track. So he should have known about it, and he had a late push. And, well, I get he was going for the push on Hamlin, which in that case, Chris, you have to understand, that is the move to make in order to get yourself around the outside line and get yourself in the race-winning position. He had it. However, he made that push a little late, and then when he decided to try to move down a bit, I don't know where he was trying to think he was going, because the apron at that track is deadly if you hit it right, like he did very slightly, sends you up the track a bit. And which, I don't know if his spotter didn't tell him that, you have a car on the outside, or if they just didn't react to that quick enough. So, I mean, that's kind of a he said, or however you want to look at it, that's pretty much how I'm going to leave it at. In terms of the fuel deal that screwed Kyle Busch, which I don't think Kyle Busch should have been in that spot anyways, but we'll get to that in a minute. That is 110% Larson and his crew's fault, because as the driver, you should have known where your fuel was at that time. However, that's also his crew's fault, because his crew chief is supposed to know these things that could communicate with Kyle. So I would lean it more towards Kyle, but it's a fault of the entire 5 team for the whole losing fuel and running out on the restart. They should have known, and that should have been communicated.
So Ross Chastain can go on this whole I don't give a F tour, and it becomes a tour. But Kyle Larson, week in, week out, can do whatever the hell he wants to do, drive anybody the way that he wants to drive, and nobody says a word about it. It's hypocritical. I'm surprised Ross Chastain didn't get out and want to whoop his tail, but definitely in this situation with the running out of fuel, that was just being arrogant. That was just being an arrogant ass saying, I'm going to stay out here and I'm going to run out of fuel, and whatever happens, happens. Not only did you put your race in jeopardy, you put other people's races in jeopardy too, which is okay for somebody who's sitting that high up on the chart, right? The less competition there, the better, right? And so it really felt like some childish NASCAR Heat 4 move or something like that. It definitely didn't feel like he was putting into respecting the other drivers, such as the crew chiefs of the 11 car and the other cars that actually went to pit road instead of deciding to run out on the speedway. So he knew when his fuel window was up, and he stayed out there and wah. Now, Kyle Busch, that guy, I don't know if they were cheering to encourage him or cheering because he wrecked. I am very confused right now